Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and welcome to another Overwatch Hero Spotlight and Quick Tips video. Today we'll be covering McCree, a former outlaw turned Overwatch member turned vigilante. McCree is an offensive hero and he is one of the most powerful characters in Overwatch. Let's start by taking a look at his kit. McCree, in true Cowboy fashion, uses a pistol called the Peacekeeper. This is a 6-shooter revolver whose bullets do 70 damage up close. Damage does in fact drop off at range with this pistol, and eventually will drop down to 35 damage per hit. Headshots do work when normally firing this pistol, and note that headshots in Overwatch deal double the damage. McCree's secondary fire option is going to be Fan the Hammer. He fires his pistol incredibly quickly, using every shot left in the cylinder. All of these shots deal the same damage as if you were normally firing the Peacekeeper, although obviously it's a bit more difficult to hit because he's firing it so rapidly, and note that you will no longer deal extra damage with headshots while using Fan the Hammer. Next up, we have McCree's Flashbang, which is one of the main reasons McCree is so popular and powerful in Overwatch currently. This ability allows McCree to throw a Flashbang, which will stun anyone near it. I'm showing you guys the range of the Flashbang here. It isn't very long, but it is still incredibly powerful when used in combination with Fan the Hammer. The idea is get close to somebody, stun them, and then melt their immobile body with Fan the Hammer. Flashbang will do 25 damage initially and stun the target for 0.7 seconds, and even though Flashbang has a 10-second cooldown, it's still incredibly effective at countering fast heroes like Genji, Tracer, and Lucio, and it is so good that there's actually talks coming from Blizzard about a McCree nerf in the works. We're going to have to see if that ever comes to fruition, but there are talks of a McCree nerf in the works because right now he is incredibly powerful. One of the reasons why they're considering reworking McCree is his combat roll. This allows McCree to roll in the direction he's moving and has an 8-second cooldown. You may think to yourself just by watching this, wow, he barely moved that far at all. What's the point? Well, the point is McCree automatically reloads his Peacekeeper when he rolls. This allows the ultimate McCree combo of stun, Fan the Hammer, roll, Fan the Hammer again. This can do so much damage so quickly that you can melt a tank hero in seconds. McCree's ultimate ability is probably one of the most iconic in Overwatch.
It's high noon.
Deadeye, as it's called, although most people seem to call it High Noon, sends McCree in a special targeting mode, which is not too unlike the one that we saw in Red Dead Redemption. Time is slowed down significantly for McCree, and enemies in his sight will start to be targeted. This ability does about 270 damage per second while it's being cast, and targets that have a skull on them are almost always going to die if you hit them. Note that most players are very quick to hide when it's High Noon, and note that shields and barriers will also protect enemies from being hit, and if they happen to go around the wall, they're not going to be hit. They have to be in McCree's line of sight to actually have the ultimate work. Now that we have his abilities out of the way, let's go ahead and cover some quick tips for playing McCree, although honestly I don't have a lot of them because McCree is a fairly basic and straightforward hero to play as. Tip number 1, I already talked about this earlier, but Flashbang plus Fan the Hammer is why people play McCree. His pistol is good and his ultimate can be devastating at times, but people play McCree because of his stun and dun combination. Utilize this if you aren't regularly trying to pull off this combination and instead you're just sitting back trying to snipe people with your pistol. You're not playing McCree correctly. You're not utilizing him to his fullest potential. Tip number 2, the reload time on Fan the Hammer is half a second longer than if you were to normally reload your Peacekeeper, and Fan the Hammer will only shoot as many bullets that are left in the cylinder even if there is only one bullet left. Just keep that in mind. The reload time is slightly longer, and that 0.5 seconds could mean the difference between life and death if you reload your weapon accordingly. Tip number 3, you can press your secondary fire option during Deadeye to cancel it, and should you use your Deadeye and not actually fire upon anybody before the timer runs out, you will be refunded 50% progress towards your next use of your ultimate. Tip number 4, while it's incredibly important to use McCree's combat roll for instant reloads, don't sleep on it as a means of escape around the corner. That roll can definitely be the difference between life and death. Tip number 5, as McCree, you are an incredibly good counter to a lot of heroes and you're very good in close quarters situations. Look out for fast heroes like Tracer, Lucio, and Genji. You can take them out pretty quickly. And just as a side tip, should you actually go up against the Genji, remember that whoever uses their E first is probably going to lose. If you get in a duel with the Genji, wait for him to use his reflect, and once that's done, then you stun him, then you fan him down. Do not stun him and allow him to reflect because you're probably just going to die as a result. And quick tip number 6, McCree doesn't have a ton of hard counters thanks to his stun, but enemies at medium and long ranges pose a very good threat to him. He's not not very good out in the open. He's not very good at those medium to long ranges. He just happens to excel at those super close ranges. So always try to stay in close quarters spots with McCree and try to play smart when you're out in the open, because of course you can't always just be ducking in and out of buildings. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude my McCree Hero Spotlight and Quick Tips video. He is one of the most popular heroes in Overwatch, and for good reason. He is incredibly good at what he does. McCree was actually the first hero I played during the Overwatch beta because he reminded me so much of Red Dead Redemption's John Marston, and I've enjoyed my time playing with him ever since. I would definitely be interested to see if they're going to be changing him at all, because he definitely seems to be very powerful at this current stage in Overwatch, and of course buffs and nerfs are going to happen as per usual with most games out there, but I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with McCree in the future. But right now, he's definitely one of the best heroes in Overwatch, and if you haven't tried him out yet, maybe now after watching this video, you guys will give him a shot. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.